Hi builders, in this tutorial we're going to create a modern aesthetic building. First, let's create some terrain to put our building on. We'll go to the terrain editor in the Home tab. Next we'll go to Generate and choose the biomes that we want in our terrain. I'm going to choose mountains, hills, and water. Zoom out and rescale the biome cube. For this tutorial, we don't need that much land, and it will only slow down the computer if we make too much. I'm going to make the floor of the cube go just below the base plate, and then click Generate. After it generates, we'll find an interesting spot to place our building. Now we can exit out of the terrain editor and explore the landscape. Maybe over here by this lake would be nice, or on the edge of this snowy mountain. I'm going to place it right here in the edge of the mountain. I'll go to the Insert Part tab and insert a block. Now I'll use Move and Scale to arrange this block in the ground. I'm going to make this building pretty large. This is going to be the foundation, so we'll sink it down into the ground. Maybe something just about like that. Next, we'll add a texture and color to this block. Click on the block and go to the Properties tab. If you don't have Properties or the Explorer, go to View and open Properties. Here we have brick color. I'm going to do this pastel violet, or maybe this mauve. And then I'll change the material. Perhaps marble is a favorite, but let's change it up this time and do pebble. That looks kind of cool, very mid-century. Next, we need to add the walls, and for these walls, I want to make them look like glass. So we'll go back to the Home tab, Part, and add another block. I'm going to move the part in a little bit because I want there to be a walkway around the building. Oops, I moved the foundation up into the air. To undo a mistake, hold Control and press Z. Now reselect the block that's going to become our wall. I'm going to scale it. Since it's a glass wall, it's going to be quite thin, and I want it to be almost the length of the building, leaving enough room for our walkway. And then for height, I'm going to make it quite tall. This is going to be like a fancy Apple store or something. All right, so right now this block is just medium stone gray. Let's make it more of a glass color. Here's a fog. That sounds like it could be glass. And instead of the plastic material, well, I don't know if there is a glass. We'll do smooth plastic, and then the important one is changing the transparency. So we adjust the transparency slider, and I'm going to make it about 0.5. So you can tell there's something there. And that's one of our walls. Now we can use, having the wall selected, we can hit Control D to duplicate it, and then use Move to move this wall. It'll be the identical wall on this side, so we'll place it about there, and then do Control D again. Now we're going to rotate it and scale it to fit for the next wall. We'll slide it about there, and then we're going to need to scale it to be long enough. This part is a little tricky. You just got to make sure that the walls are intersecting each other. They should be the same height if we didn't change anything on accident. And then we'll use move to move it out. Oh, you see the light coming through the crack there? Need to close it up. All right, that looks pretty good. We'll do Control D again and move our final wall into position. That looks good. The walkway is not very long on this side. Maybe I'll scale the foundation out just a little bit in that direction. Oh, and I'm seeing some gaps between our walls now. Let's go ahead and move this wall back in a bit. This wall looks okay. All right, now we need to put a roof on this thing. And I'm just going to click on the foundation, do Control D again, and start lifting it up. Now I'd like the roof to be quite thin, so we'll scale it back down. And perhaps a different material. I don't know. I like the pink pebble just okay. All right, that looks pretty good. Should we change the color? Let's see what there is. Maybe more of a white. Just straight white. And let's see what other textures there are. Marble? Maybe a marble roof? Okay, yeah, let's do that. Now it's pretty dark in here. I'd like to add some light. I'm going to put some skylights around the edges. And inside the building, we'll add some, I'll show you how to make a light fixture in a second. But for now, let's make some skylights. I'm going to use the sphere part. So we're going to add a sphere and scale it up. Now I don't want it to go in between the glass. Let's move it down so it's intersecting the roof. And we're going to go to the Model tab and make it and negate it. So you see it turns a little bit red. This means it's a negative space, and that's going to allow us to make holes. But first, let's make some more of these. So I'm going to do Control D and move it, and Control D, and I'm just going to place these around kind of randomly. I don't think they need to be too perfect. I'm going to scale it. We'll make, oh, they're scaling kind of weird. I want it to scale all together. So if you hold Shift, yeah, there. If you hold Shift, they all scale together. And we'll move it. Okay, that's kind of an odd-sized one. We'll put some more of these. Oh, I don't like that. It's not a circle. Okay, we're not going to use that one, and we're not going to use that one. We'll get those out of there. Let's try this again. We will duplicate and then scale. Hold Shift. No, that's not working. Control Z, undo. Huh. Normally when you scale a sphere, it should all scale equally, but it's not doing it. Hold Shift. Hold Control. No. Hold Shift. Okay, that seems like it's working now for whatever reason. Holding Control Z. All right, let's get rid of this one too. See ya. One more try. Control D. Control D. Make a few more of these. Control D. Scale. Hold Control. Hold Shift. Okay, good enough. Control D. In my head, this is going to look good, but who knows? Control D. Maybe get one of these bigger ones. Control D. Some bigger ones over here. Control D. Control D. All right, just duplicating, and then we'll get rid of these little ones again. And probably should add a little one over here too. So we need to drop that, make sure it's going through the roof. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to select all of these negative bubbles and select the roof, and then we're going to combine them. And when we combine them, the negative space combined with the positive roof space should create all the holes. So I'm just going to lasso them all up here. And we'll do a union. Okay, that did something weird. That made the roof transparent. Let's undo that. Okay, what we really, maybe we just need to select just the roof, just the ball, do a union. Okay, that's what we're going for. So let's hold shift and select all of these holes, including the roof. I think I'm just click, holding shift. We're going to select all of them and the roof, and now we'll do the union again. And nothing happened. Union. Ah, okay, there we go. We forgot one. So we'll do hold shift, select the roof, union. Okay, so we've got little skylights all around the edge of our building now. Finally, we'll add a light inside. So this should be easy. We will go to Home, Part, Cylinder. We'll get the cylinder, rotate that up on its end. So it looks like this. And let's scale it. Shift, make it a little bigger. Shorten it. Okay, I want to make it like a flat disc, and then we're going to attach these flat discs to the ceiling. So they'll kind of mimic the skylights on the outside, but there'll be lights on the inside. This is a pretty good size. We can hold shift and scale it along that dimension. Maybe a little thinner again. Okay. For this part, we're going to make it pastel yellow. And for the material, we could make it neon, I guess. That's a little more vibrant than I'd want it to be. Maybe we'll go back to smooth plastic. All right, and then we're going to move it up onto the ceiling. So this will be a little tricky with the camera controls. We might have to go into the floor a little bit. And I just want it to be hanging down from the ceiling like that. Now we're going to need to go to the Model tab, the View tab, and open the Explorer. So the Explorer shows us all of the items that are in our game. So we've got this item selected, and you can see it's highlighted over here, and then there's a little plus sign. We're going to need to hit the plus and attach a light to it. So we can start by typing surface light. I typed S, and you see surface light popped up down here. So we'll attach the surface light. When we click that, we can see it's kind of shining off to the side. We need to make it bottom facing to come out the bottom. Oh, it's confused about what side is the bottom. Maybe front? Back? No. Right? Okay, the right side is the downward facing side. We're going to have to extend the range so it gets all the way to the floor. And then I'm going to change the angle, make it a little narrower. Okay. For some reason, it's coming off in more of a rectangle shape and not really a circular shape. I don't know what's wrong with that, but this is good enough for now. We'll duplicate that, and we can move it. Control D, and move. Control D, and move. Control D, and move. Okay, sync these into the ceiling. All right, and we've got lights on the inside. We got lights on the outside. I kind of want to make a few more of these at different sizes. So let's hold home, scale, hold control. Let's shrink some down and place some of those of different sizes. All right, so we got lots of lights. Finally, the last thing we're going to need to do is add a door. And we can do a circular door the same way we did these circular holes by punching a hole in the glass. We're going to go to Parts, Spheres, drag it down here, scale it up. Let's make a nice big door. And then move it so that it's intersecting this glass. Change the camera angle, make sure we got it. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to sink it down in the floor some. All right, so that's going to be our door. We go back to the Model tab, negate that, hold Shift, click the wall, so we've got both selected, and you can see over here in the Explorer that we've got the negative part selected, and we've got this part here, that's the wall, and create a union. And there we have a door. I want to see what this place looks like at night, so we'll open the toolbox and search night sky. All right, so now we see it at night. Interesting. I guess that's the moon lighting up this side of the walk, but not the other. We'll go to play here, and see how it looks. Oh, the whole building fell apart. Uh-oh. We forgot to anchor all of our parts. Let's hit stop. I guess we can go ahead and get rid of these negative parts. Go to select, delete, delete, delete. All right, we're going to select all of our building parts and hit this anchor button here. Anchor, and try one more time. All right, the building didn't fall apart this time. Oh, I thought we had a night sky. Maybe we undid the night sky on accident. We've got our lights shining inside the building, glass walls, a properly sized doorway, holes in the ceiling. I wonder if we can get on the roof, go fall through one of these holes. Oh, huh. I don't know why we can't. Maybe you can figure that out. I assumed that we would be able to fall through one of these holes. Hopefully we can walk through the door. Okay, the door works. All right, everything looks good. I hope you had fun building this modern aesthetic building. I could see this being like an Apple store maybe, or I don't know, you wouldn't want to live here with all glass walls. See you next time, builders.